I think it's interesting that a lot of reporters keep saying, hey, don't be surprised if Sam Darnold starts week 1, almost like they're hearing something. The latest guy is Brian Baldinger. He comes out, and again, no analysis, just says, don't be surprised if Sam Darnold starts week 1. He says, look, if it's a competition between him and Trey, you're talking one guy who's had 5 starts in 3 years against Sam Darnold, who's highly experienced, and he thinks Sam Darnold's going to beat him out. What do you think?
Well, I follow this guy on Twitter. His name's Grant Cohn, and he put out the stats of Sam Darnold's last game. Do you have that right there?
I can get it.
That was when I read that, I was like, well, I'll say this. I watched the highlight reel of Sam Darnold in Carolina. And if you just go off the highlight reel, he looks like one of the NFL's better quarterbacks. He's mobile. He's big. He makes a number of throws. He's got great zip on the ball. It's a very catchable ball. He seems like he's aware down in distance. Plays a little edge, a little fire. He looks good. But then you showed me those stats from that last game, and those stats were putrid. So stats sometimes lie, but not when they're just game stats. And
let me give you the stats.
Yeah, what do you got?
Let me give you the stats. Last game of the year, he won this game, okay? 10-7 against New Orleans. 5 of 15, 43 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks, 2 sacks, 2 fumbles in one game. And the week before, he fumbled 3 times. So to me, like to your point, when you watch his highlights, he looks like a bigger Brock Purdy. But what you're not seeing is all the freaking turnovers that Brock doesn't commit. And they can talk themselves into Sam Darnold if they want. He will play himself onto the bench real fast because you can't have a quarterback turning the ball over on this team. It's too good. He'll lose games.
If you want to blame the Jets, fine. But now you're going to blame the Jets and the Panthers. I don't. To me, it's like based on what I've seen, and what do I know? But based on what I've seen, Trey Lance beats out Sam Darnold easily. I think
so.
Trey's going to get better, but it makes you wonder, why is Rappaport and Baldinger, why are these people talking up Sam Darnold? Why?
Because I think someone in the organization is talking him up off the record. That's my best guess. I don't think all these guys had a bright idea at the same time, the same bright idea at the same time.
My guess is not going to be a competition, or is what I was saying before going to happen, and they're going to move Trey Lance, and then what those guys are predicting is they know it's going to be Darnold against DTR or Darnold against Clayton.
I have an alternate theory. What if these guys who can get to Kyle Shanahan and ask him off the record, who's it going to be, Brock or Trey? I could see Kyle being like, hey man, don't write off Sam. Who's to say it's not going to be Sam? Because from Kyle's perspective, I think he thinks he's the reason any quarterback has success. And those two guys are coming off injuries. And this year, Sam's the healthiest. He might just make magic with Sam. I think he feels if he can make magic with Brock, he could do it again with Sam. And I would say, dude, you're tripping. There's a big difference between Brock and Sam, but maybe he disagrees.
Yeah, I've never understood the Sam love. Didn't understand it. Never have. Never got it and don't understand it. Didn't like him at SC. Didn't see it with the Jets. Saw him say he was hearing ghosts or seeing ghosts.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll say this though, Grant, go watch the 2022 Sam Darnold Carolina Panther highlight reel, and that will make you think that this guy's got talent. If Shanahan can get something out of Darnold, Shanahan might be able to get a contract extension on that alone.
Yeah. Well, look, even in college, he didn't even have that great of a career. In 2016, as a redshirt freshman, he had 31 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completed 67% of his passes. That's a good year. But he only threw for like 3,000 yards. They ran the ball a lot. Then the next year, he passed 480 times, and his numbers tanked. He had 13 picks in 14 games, 26 touchdowns. Like, he had one good year in college, and everyone glossed over that, and then now he's what he is. So I think he was just a bad evaluation to begin with.
Were you there at the local pro day? Because from what I heard, Frank Gore was talking him up.
No, I wasn't.
Matt Barrows told me that Frank Gore was at the local pro day and was talking up Darnold, who's his former teammate with the Jets. I don't know. I don't know what to believe, because to me, I've never seen him really look good.
I'm afraid that he's going to look good in practice, and the Niners are going to talk themselves into him, and he's going to play week 1 and just turn the ball over left and right. And people are going to be like, Right. Why did we think anything else was going to happen? We've seen a lot of Sam Darnold. The results are in.
If Trey Lance is on this team and he doesn't play week 1 and Brock Purdy's not healthy, I don't even know what I'm going to say at that point. I mean, seriously, then now we got to seriously talk about, is Trey a bust? If he cannot beat out Sam Darnold in a year where Brock Purdy's not ready to play, we got to question the pick at that point. Then I'm going to question.
You can question the pick now if you want, but
it's been 4 games. I mean, I actually like Trey Lance. I still believe. I think I believe in Trey Lance more than the Niners believe in Trey Lance.
It's shocking. It's like they're more interested in developing Sam Darnold than Trey Lance at this time. Like that's who you're talking up behind closed doors. Like it's insane to me.
Yeah.
Why don't you work with Lance instead of just going on to the next one and trying to talk yourself into Sam Darnold because you don't know him that well yet? Again, it just feels like they're the kind of guys that are always looking for the next girl. Like whoever they're with, they don't like. It's like, is that an insecurity? Like if the girl likes you, you don't like her because she likes you, and any girl who likes you couldn't. It's like, what is that?
I
don't know. I just went too far.
Hey, I've worked for people.
There are people like that.
I've worked for people that have so little belief in themselves that they always like some other workers more than the people that work for their company. Yeah, it's classic.
I don't get it.
Insecurity
anyway.
Deal. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what we're gonna see, but I think it's time to see Lance. If he's on this team, I think it's time to see him.
What I will say, though, is I really appreciate how the 49ers always give us quarterback drama to talk about. They're a good team, which is good for hits, and they never have the answer at quarterback, which is good for hits. So I really want to say thank you. I mean, it's not the best way to build a team, but it's the best way for us to talk about a team, so thank you.
Grant's channel sponsored by Indecision at quarterback.
Hell yeah, absolutely. That's the realest thing we've ever said. Rob Schneider says NFL Films made a video tribute for Willis and Bowman, first ILBs ever to get all-pro nods in the same year. Legendary prediction. Kings win, go up 2-0. Interesting. We're going to talk about that later. It's interesting. We thought at the time those were 2 Hall of Famers. Neither one's a Hall of Famer. And the fact that Willis isn't in yet, it kills me. But they need a little promotion because people are only going to forget about how great they were as time goes on.
So it just shows you how physical NFL is. It's like it just chews you up and spits you out. The careers are short. Bowman was awesome. Willis was the prototype. These guys were literally the 2 inside linebackers that had instinct, size, speed, and could cover that whole second level all by themselves. And it was an incredible thing.
Montetorre says no one's in Trey's corner more than Kyle. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Based on what? Based on what? Because he's never, ever said anything positive about Trey's ability to play the quarterback position. He'll say that he's a great kid. He'll say that his makeup's off the charts, but he doesn't talk about his release. He doesn't talk about his throwing. He doesn't talk about his accuracy. He doesn't talk about his processing. He doesn't talk about his play action game. I don't think I've ever heard Kyle ever compliment Trey ever.
I think it's fair. I mean, you don't want to just hype up a guy who's done nothing after 3, because essentially call him 4 starts. He got hurt in the first quarter of the 4th start. He's played 3 games. So you don't really want to say it. You don't want to anoint him. And I think they're being smart. Like the locker room is kind of hesitant on the whole Trey Lance idea. Instead of saying he's a starter, say he's in a competition. Say you love Sam Darnold. Say Sam Darnold's the greatest quarterback of all time. And then if Trey Lance wins, it's like he earned something, which I think is some of the issue that some of the people on the team may have with him, or some of the fan base has with him, that he never earned anything, that he took Jimmy's job and it wasn't fair or whatever. I don't know.
Well, there's no doubt that Brock Purdy was not competing with him last summer.
Right. No one was competing with him last summer. The only one who could have was intentionally held out of practice.
Right. On a side field.